It's magic. All these tools they used against us, trying to use against us, we can use it against them. Get the message out. I want to see more channels starting. I want to see everybody with a channel. Everybody that's got something to offer, do it. Put yourself out there and talk about what you know. Be yourself. It'll resonate. All right, it's Friday, 7/7, July 7th, 2023. Add that up. Let's see, 5, 6, 7. That's another 777 day. We had 555 earlier, but yeah, it's added up. So we got 7, 7, and then 2023. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. 777. There we go. Hey, warrior, Benny. So there's not, the numbers mean things. I think the 777 day. All right. So I can add at least, 2023. I did my math right. Hope I did. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 2, 2, 3, 7. Unfortunately, not many people can do math anymore, and that's why we're going to have everything is going to be automated. I mean, it's not even, I don't know, we see it all the time. You go into restaurants, you go into places, and it's hard for people to make change. But I don't think they're going to have to at some point. It's all going to be digital. And so it's just send it, exact amount, no making change, no fumbling through, all this burden of coins and the burden of cash. I just read an article, the lovely Litecoin Lisa posted it on her Twitter feed, and I looked at it, and it was an Australian lady who went into the bank, needed $3,500 out of her account to be able to, she was doing some home repairs and just needed the money to go buy some stuff. And they didn't have it. They said, well, we don't have it. You can't get it at the counter anymore at this bank. You have to go to the ATM. Well, she didn't have her card. So she thought, oh gosh, so then it became a big ordeal. Had to get her, tried to make a new card, do it, didn't work. She ended up transferring the money out of that bank account to another bank she had open. And apparently got her cash out of that one, but she closed the account. But this is common practice. This has been happening. I've seen this happen since, it was 2006. Let's go all the way back to 2006. Really, once you hit 9/11, they put a lot of different things in place to where it made it difficult. And it's part of a bigger plan. I mean, that's 20 plus years ago, 22 years ago. Yeah, if I do my math right, almost 22 years ago. But at the time we had sold a home that we were moving, and we'd fixed it all up. And of course, it's always a break even deal or a lose deal. And that reminds me of a San Diego house I want to tell you about. Some people we know. We'll come back to that. But in 2006, we sold our home, had it all fixed up, remodeled, nice. Like I said, didn't make any money on it really, probably just broke even, but we lived there the whole time, so for 4 years. And when we sold it, made a little bit of money. And at the time, my eyes have always been terrible. So I wanted to get my eyes done, LASIK eye surgery, and it was, I think, $3,000 an eye. I think it ended up being $6,000. And I put half of it down, I think. I think that's what it was. Maybe it was $3,000 for both of them. I don't remember, hard to say. It was worth every penny. So in 2006, I went to the bank, just sold the house and wanted to take out, I think it was $3,000. And I was going to go pay cash because there was a cash discount. An important thing. Always ask, is there a cash discount? So, the dogs are going to go nuts because somebody's pulling in. Oh man, here we go. So there was a cash discount, and I wanted to take the $3,000 out of the bank. So I tried to take the $3,000 out of the bank, and the lady tells me, she's like, well, I don't know. I don't know if we have that much money, and so let me go in the back. Let me look at this, and all that stuff. So it was a big deal, but they finally came up with it and gave it to me. And this is like a local bank. This isn't some big Chase Bank or anything like that. This is a bank that should have the cash in the bank. So they had, I think did Dad get that? Is that diesel?
Yeah, this is diesel.
Okay, yeah, I think, just set it there. We can, yeah, that's fine. Yep, thank you. Good things going on here. Barrel of diesel. Like I said, be prepared. Get the things you need. So, yeah, they came up with the $3,000 in cash, and I was able to go get a discount on my eyes. Got my eyes fixed. Man, it was awesome. It was the best thing I ever did, because it ended up being, not being able to see for so long, you could actually get up in the morning, not have to fumble for glasses, and you actually see what's going on. So if somebody breaks in the house, I can actually see who I'm shooting at. Or if somebody comes in the door, But no, it was pretty cool, but not until recently. Probably, it lasted, I would say, about, 14, 15 years you know, where I had 20/20 in one eye and 20/15 in the other. I mean, it was pretty awesome. But, you know, in the last couple of years, you know, which happens, your eye stretches and grows, and, you know, the eyesight starts getting bad. So it kind of gave me that 15-year window. And now, you know, I'm back to wearing the glasses. So, you know, I can wear them. I don't have to wear them when I'm outside, but if I'm driving, that was the main thing, you know. I got to put the specs on so I can see where I'm going. Can't go to Oklahoma City and visit Litecoin Lisa and drive 10 hours without the glasses on. So so anyway, but that's just one example of the banks. Even back in 2006, they didn't want to give you the money, and I had the money in there. You know, it's my money, right? You know, I got it in there. Well, it ends up being, what's that? Oh, what's that? It's that.
Okay, and then he had to put gas. Okay,
all that goes on his bill.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I know, confusing. No, thanks, Roger. All right. So anyway, the where was I? Getting stuff. Yeah, the green screen, right? I got. You should see the other side of the green screen. That's why I need a 360 cam. You know, people coming and going all the time. Dogs barking. Can't get anything past the dogs. So anyway, even back then, you know, you think you've got money in the bank, but you don't have money, is what it comes down to. This is do it live, right? This is what happens. And so this lady in Australia, you know, she's starting to learn, hey, guess what? That money's not really yours in the bank. They can give it to you if they want to give it to you. They don't have to give it to you, because what you got to realize is when you put your money in the bank, you kind of become a shareholder of that bank, and you don't get paid back first if the bank goes under. Derivative holders, and Congress passed all this, you know, the criminals that are running the show, they passed all this stuff. So they bail out, you know, all the faker assets, because the Federal Reserve note's a fake asset backed by nothing, but at least it's a physical thing you can hold in your hand. People recognize it and they still accept it. However, you've got all these derivatives built on top of, you know, the fake artificial debt Ponzi vampire casino system, vampire casino chips, and they get bailed out first, even though they're not even, I mean, there's really nothing backing it up. But you got to realize, when you're getting paid in that stuff and you're playing in that game and you put it into the bank, it's theirs. I mean, good luck getting it out. And what's going to happen is, I talked about, you know, hey, we're not going to have to make change anymore because it's all going to go digital. Right now we're in the window, the Fed Now window, to where it's supposed to be live in July. In Fed Now, essentially what it is, it's just the central bank saying that the transactions are going to go through in a very timely manner, you know, in real time if you're participating in the Fed Now. But what that ultimately leads to is a central bank digital currency, digital money, to where at some point you're not going to have dollars, you're not going to have physical dollars, you're not going to have Federal Reserve notes, you're going to have federal coins, whatever they want to call them, USD coin, you know, or dollar coin, whatever it is, and it'll all be digital. I mean, they're forcing us that way anyway. Every check you get from the government's now direct deposited. Maybe you can get it on a debit card, but it's all in a digital system. That's where they want to take us. And by doing that, it separates us from the money. When you think back, when you had to carry around silver and spend silver, you didn't really want to part with it unless it was for a good, you know, it's like, hey man, I give my silver up, I don't have it anymore. And then so there's that disconnection from the money, you know, that you can touch. Well, then it goes to paper bills, and it's like, okay, at least I'm holding my paper bills, you know, I really don't want to spend them because once they're gone, they're gone. Well, then once it goes to digital, you know, and they got the cards and all that, you're not really in contact with your money. Get it direct deposited to your account, you never see it, easy to go take the card, spend it. It's like there's no separation anxiety, you know, the dollar, you know, is not in your hand, you're not physically giving it up, because it's a lot easier to swipe the card and pay for something digitally than it is to take that cash out of your pocket and hand it over, because once it's gone, it's gone. You know, you lose that contact with it. And so it's by design, it's purposeful. Yeah, it's more efficient, but, you know, and I'm all for efficiency, but, you know, I want something that is efficient, that actually has value built into it. And unfortunately, you know, the CBDC is not going to have any value. It's going to be just like the dollar that you have now, the Federal Reserve note that you have now. It's not going to have any real intrinsic value to it. And that's what they're going to put on you. They're going to say, hey, this is what we're using, turn in your dollars, you know, whatever, we'll give you a, you know, extra CBDC credits for turning it in. But ultimately, they're just going to say, turn it in. And Johnny made a great point yesterday on Lisa and him, they do their show on Thursdays on Litecoin Lisa's channel at 4 p.m. Central Time. He made a great point. What they'll do is if you've got all this cash at some point and you go to turn it in, they're going to say, well, where'd you get this? Try and deposit a lot of money in cash right now. They kind of look at you, well, where'd you get the cash? You know, what's that from? You know, like you're a criminal or something. Okay, well, I work for tips, you know, and I get a lot of cash tips. You know, I'm a stripper, you know, so I got a lot of tips. I mean, I get it in cash. You know, that's what happens, or unless you got a QR code tattooed on your backside. That's the way to go in the future, I guess. Just don't lose your private key. You know, you've earned that cash, and you want to put it in the bank, and then you get questioned for it. So that's what'll happen when it comes time to turn in the cash. If you've got too much for, you know, what they think you should have, they're gonna be asking questions and say, hey, you know, what's that from? You need to fill out this suspicious activity report. Tell us where you got it, you know, put a statement down. I've had that happen. I've taken money out of the bank before. Again, I sold another house, and $10,000 in cash. I'm like, that's about all I had in there, you know, from the sale of the house. But I'm like, take it out as soon as possible. And they're like, okay, well, what do you need it for? We have to, I mean, we don't have a problem with it, again, a local bank, but we have to fill out this form. And it's basically a suspicious activity report. And you have to write down what you're using the cash for. They want to know. And they report that back to the authorities, you know, in Washington. But, you know, it's like they want to know. They want to know what you're doing with it. So basically, that tells you it's not your money. You don't have control of it. You know, it's not your money. It's their chips, yeah, out of their casino. So you're walking out of their casino with those chips. They want to know, or you're bringing them into the casino. They want to know, well, how'd you get these? Are these counterfeit? What is this? Where'd you get these from? Did it run through our system to where we get our cut? And that's really what it's about. It's about control. And so this CBDC thing is going to be massive control. They're going to take control of all of it, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. There are going to be limits on how many cigars Westwood gets, how many beers I get, how many whiskeys I can drink. And they're going to put you in a situation where you're not fitting into the algorithm very well. You know, some of your tweets aren't that good. You know, maybe your card doesn't work because, you know, you said a few things. You know, you responded to the White House, you know, in a comment. There's the White House, truly a White House now, in some sort of comment on social media. And we want to make sure that you're a good American, and, you know, you clean up your act a little bit. You know, you're a little suspicious. So we're going to say, yeah, this weekend you can't spend any of those CBDCs. Like, but I need a cigar and a beer. Well, tough. But that's the kind of world that we could live in. You don't vote the right way. You got the people in power that you don't agree with, and then they'll use the forces of the weight of that government against you. That's kind of where it's going. Now, that's the bad side of it. The good side of it is that it's very efficient. You're not going to wait for your paycheck anymore. You know, you get an ACH transaction, you don't have to wait a couple of days. No, boom, it's in your account. You can use it right away. So in theory, it's good. In theory, it's very efficient. You know, you cut out the fat, and, you know, that's going to reduce fees and all this. They say that, but that never happens. It's like the lottery is going to pay for education, right? Yeah, right. That happens. So a lottery is tax on the poor, by the way. You know, that's kind of what it is. Somebody's got to win, though. I'll choose to win in different ways. So as we go digital, it's very important to know if you're going to have something digital and work within a digital framework, it's best to work in that kind of new gold, new silver, new cash that's not that's backed on its own, and it's backed by code. And that's what crypto is. It's backed by code. It's backed by math. The rules are clearly defined, how many there are, how many can come onto the market, and you can hold it in your possession, and nobody can stop you from doing that, because that network that runs outside of their network is validating all those transactions. It's running on open source code that anybody can look at, decentralized computers everybody volunteers into. And that's really what it is. It's just voluntary money. We just choose, you know what, we don't like this system. We don't like the way it's working. We don't like the rules that you keep changing. Instead, we're going to play by these rules over here. And at first, it's difficult because enough people have to come along and say, yeah, that makes sense. I see value in that. Please pay me in Litecoin. And so you need to find people like that. Please pay me in DigiByte. I like sitting around talking, so pay me in Bitcoin, you know, so we can chat and have a cigar and drink some whiskey while we're waiting for the transaction to confirm. Hey, pick your poison, you know, whichever one you like, resonate with. So it's important to understand that and front run that, because if you watched the show last night, we kind of got into it a little bit. Actually, it wasn't on live last night. I thought we would do it live, but going forward, we're going to do it live. And what I'm talking about, it's called Let's Hash It Out is the name of the show. Like hash, you know, hash power, crypto hash. I don't know, maybe it has other meanings, but Let's Hash It Out is kind of what we agreed on is going to be the name of the show that we're going to do every Friday from 5 p.m. Central to 7 p.m. Central on Blind Dave's channel. I put a link to the video in the description. You can go watch it. We recorded it last night just to kind of get, get a feel for everything, but I think everybody's good. We're going to do it live from here on out. Let's hash it out. And we kind of got into that a little bit. Steak is from the Netherlands, and he's got he's done a lot of research, into the legalities and what's going on with cryptocurrency, governments intertwine with it and where governments are taking it on a worldwide level. And there's an agenda, and there are certain chosen coins, and there are certain ones that are chosen to be, part of the system. And there are others that might offer more independence because they're kind of treated as money. So we'll get into more of that stuff, but it's important to realize you want to have a decentralized coin in your possession that you can use. That's my perspective. Just seeing what's coming and listening to all the information that I get. And that's the reason why I resonate with Litecoin and DigiByte, because to me, those are like pretty perfect forms of digital money. To me, Litecoin is the perfect payment rail, perfect form, sound money for the digital age, especially with Mimblewimble, privacy built into the money. But I mean, you look at DigiByte, that's a very fast transaction. It's still money. One might be silver, one might be copper, but it's still money that you can hold in your own possession, and the decentralized network validates those transactions. So it's a way to opt out. It's a way to have the ability to say, you know what, I don't want to go to the bank and have to beg for my money that I earned and have been taxed on and then put in the bank. And now you're going to make it a hassle for me to get it out and spend it and get sales taxed on it. Go to a restaurant around here, it's like 10.5%, 11% restaurant tax, food tax. That's money that's already been taxed. Get a barrel of the diesel, and the diesel, they got tax on that, got road taxes, got this and that. And it's just like, where's all this grifting, all this money go to? There's always these cuts that have been taken, and then nothing gets fixed. Do the roads get fixed? No. Does anything get fixed? No. But a lot of people getting rich off of it. One's pulling the strings. Anyway, at some point, you just say enough is enough. And I'm just going to do it my own way, and because I can, because there is a tool now, because something was invented to allow peer-to-peer electronic cash payments outside of a financial institution, just like the white paper says. Kind of an important thing. And if we don't use it, then continue to play in the vampire system, continue to play that game. But they don't have good plans for you. They're changing the rules, and they're going to try and usher you into it, and most people into it, because most people are heavily invested into the dollar-based system. And so they think, well, what else am I supposed to do? My retirement's in it. What else am I supposed to do? It's how I get paid. I get it, but you got to find ways out, and you got to realize what's coming. Totally inflationary, totally rob you of your wealth with every dollar that gets created. Complete scam system. That's what it is, a vampire casino. To kind of further bolster that, I was talking to my wife last night and my daughter, and she's got a friend. My daughter has a friend who lives in California. And her family, they're the same age, 18, 19. Their family, the house they live in out there near the San Diego area, in 2003, that house sold for $180,000 in 2003. Currently, the value of that house, 20 years later, is $2.4 million. Now, were there a lot of things done to it? Yeah, there was some fixing up here and there, but for it to appreciate that much in a 20-year span, that just shows you that the monetary policy has flooded into housing, has flooded into the stock market, has flowed into these assets that they want it to flow into. That's just absolutely crazy. How can someone afford that? If you look at, and you want to look at the affordability of housing, you look at how much do you make a year and how many years is it going to take you to work to pay off your house? And right now, the 7.22% 30-year mortgage rate, which is what it is, and I just looked, on one of the news channels, 7.22%. Now, that's probably below the historical norms, or right at it, or somewhere near it. But the problem is, we're coming out of a multi-decade, time frame to where everybody's been strung along and used to, rates being at a certain level, and now you're jacking them up. And all that does, it doesn't stop inflation, it just creates the need for more money. Because, that house, you could have bought it in 2021 at a sub 3% interest rate, and now you pay over 7% for it. You could pay the same price for a house, but you're paying over double for it in interest. I mean, you're paying for the house like 2 times, maybe 3 times now. Whereas back then, you might have paid for it, 1.5 times. And what changed? Well, the banks get more of the cut. That's it. You don't get more house. You get the same house, but you got to work harder. So are your wages going up at the same level? No, they're not. And they're just robbing you. But you got to live somewhere, right? I was watching Papa Joe's show today. Had a couple of people pop in the chat and said, yeah, my son lives in Tampa in a flat or a suite, and it's $1,600 a month. I mean, you own nothing. Be happy. I mean, but that's where you're at. The cost of these things is just absolutely outrageous. But it's because the monetary policy. And I've used the example many, many, many times. Highway 1, yeah, when property values drop in municipality. And that's usually like delayed, so. Papa Joe's show, yeah, I mean, watched him, some comments about what the cost of housing is. But again, like I said, it's because the monetary policy is broken, because they have to continue to create more money to sustain the old money that was created, because there's debt attached to the old money. So you need new money to service the debt. And then you get to a certain point to where all you're doing is servicing the debt. And that's where our government's at. All you're doing is servicing the debt, just making sure you make your minimum payments. Okay, what happens when you can't make your minimum payments? Let's start a war. And what's happening now? We see that Biden has approved, against pretty much any international policy and international law, the use of, the use of certain bombs that have a detonation rate which are above 1%, or what is it, a non-detonation rate of 1%. Essentially, it comes down to this. He's authorizing the use of these cluster bombs that when you drop them, they span out and they kill, massive amounts of people in a big area. The problem, though, is if it's less than a 1% detonation rate, or what do they call it? I can't even think of the name of it. If 1% of them, over 1% of them don't go off and they just land, well, they're just sitting there, and at some point somebody comes along in a tractor and boom, it blows it up. They don't detonate. Well, some of these bombs, there's people are saying it could be 8% up to 10% that don't detonate. So you're dropping 100 bombs, 90 of them blow up and destroy things, and then 10% of them land because they don't hit at the right angle, and they're just sitting there on the ground waiting to blow up. Some civilian comes along. I mean, that's what I call winning. Yeah, let's scorched earth everything. Ukraine, the breadbasket of the former Soviet Union, produces all this food, so let's go destroy all that farmland and create more artificial scarcity. And, it's just a snowball effect is really what it is. And that's what they do, though. They want to continue to keep us at perpetual war because it keeps that monetary system going and gives an excuse to whip up patriotism. So we're like, yeah, spend, go fight the enemy. Well, who's the enemy? Who's the enemy here? I mean, why are we blowing up good farmland and innocent people? Just saying. But that's been authorized now. I mean, that's a big thing because it goes against, any laws that have been in place. I think Congress actually has a law that says, hey, you can't be sending bombs over there if it's not 1% or less dud rate, whatever it is. So you drop 100 bombs, 99 of them should go off, and maybe 1 out of 100 doesn't blow up, and that's an acceptable tolerance area, I guess. But these bombs are going to get sent over there a lot higher. So, going to have these things like landmines after World War II all over the landscape, and, they show up once in a while, people get blown up once in a while, whatever. Got to break a few eggs, right, to make the omelet. I'm tired of omelets. Don't want any more omelets. Sick of omelets. Done. Quit breaking the eggs. Sick of it. So that's going on. I had a few other notes that I was going to talk about on happy hour, so I brought it out. But I mean, you know, that's a big one. I mean, the whole, I don't know, we're living in a bizarro world to where they always use war to cover up all their vices, you know, with the problems with the money. It's always take it to war because it covers up a lot of things. It gives a lot of excuses. Oh yeah, Yellen is over. Let me bring up the chat. Yellen's over at yelling at China. Vices. And there we go. Everything good. Yellen's over there in China talking about, well, we want to make sure that that China's not artificially suppressing markets and not playing fair ball and using tools that, you know, give them an unfair advantage, you know, in their markets and, you know, hurts the US and hurts the dollar. And I'm thinking, that's all we do. And I don't even want to say we. That's all the administrations have done with the dollar. They just use it to manipulate other countries and destroy other countries and get them to bend the knee. And now we're upset that some other country is going to do that. Well, you can't do that to us. You know, we're the big dog. And I mean, it's just this might makes right BS. At some point, you got to let that stuff go. I mean, you can't sustain an empire on fake money. We've tried that in the past, and it doesn't work. It always implodes. So at some point, you got to start living within your means. Use your own production if you don't like what other countries are doing, and innovate your way out of it. You know, why are we getting involved in foreign entanglements? It's not because the U.S. and the people of the United States want that. No, it's because it's the policy of the vampires who run the casinos. That's it. That's all it is. Lindsey Graham, I mean, that guy, I saw that video where, you know, he's in South Carolina. Was it Pickens, South Carolina? All these people, you know, at a Trump rally, and Lindsey Graham, I don't know if it was at the Trump rally, I think it was. Lindsey Graham comes up on stage anyway, and he just gets booed. And I'm like, how's he get voted in? His own people don't like him. So, shenanigans, that's all it is. A warmonger, somebody that goes over there and brushes, you know, next to Zelensky and talks about how great it is to kill Russians. Oh, it's money well spent. Best money we ever spent killing people. Yeah, it's just awesome. Just love to see Russians dying. Just a great thing. You go, Lindsey. Quite the patriot you are. And we've got a lot of those people like that, warmongers. I mean, give me a break. And the Nikki Haley, same thing. I mean, what's with South Carolina? How do you get all these creeps that are coming out of there? So, Daddy-O, what's the problem here? But, and then Chris Christie running. I mean, they have no chance. They have no chance. They shouldn't even be on they shouldn't even have airtime at this point. But you know what? I look at it. Let them talk. Let them talk. We'll see how ignorant they are and how bad they are for America, and just get that out there. I'd rather have everybody's voice out there, and we can all judge for ourselves, and hopefully the votes get counted correctly and the right person wins. The will of the people is enforced. We'll see what happens. Let me look at the chat real quick here. But remember, while I'm looking at the chat, we've got 4 o'clock Central Time, happy hour. I'm ready to have a drink right now. We should just start the happy hour and continue. But yeah, 4 o'clock Central Time on Litecoin Lisa's channel. The dogs are going nuts. Okay, I'm just catching up with everything here. Sorry. Thanks for hopping in here. I appreciate it. I don't do this consistently. I just figure, you know what? I got a little time. I'll turn the camera on, and then everything falls apart. Yeah, changed the inheritance laws recently too with trusts. I saw that, Lisa, to where if you think you've got your property in an irrevocable trust and you try and pass that along, you have to designate it as part of the estate up to like 12 million, and then it won't get taxed. And it's all this BS. I mean, we've got a lot of generational farms around here, and a lot of them are in trust. I mean, it's not in the person's name. It gets passed along generationally. You know, the old man can't, you know, he's 100 years old and passes away, and then the 2 sons take over, but they're running the trust. You know, it's not in their name. It's in the last name of the family, you know, whatever they've named it. I mean, these people have worked and paid for this for generations, and you think you're going to take it away from them? I mean, see, that's the whole part of destroying the American heritage. I mean, they paid their taxes, they pay it every year, they paid for it up front, they pay property tax every year, and now, you know, the federal government wants to come in and say, well, you know what, we want to collect money on that. Unrealized tax gains, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's a complete bull. It's complete BS, has nothing to do with what America was founded on. Our principles in the Constitution that say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness come from John Locke. where he said life, liberty, and property are the keys. And he's right, because if you don't have property, you can just be kicked to the curb. I mean, they can take it away from you. You've got to be able to have something tangible to where you can produce, to where you can live. And that's not the case anymore. And they want to take your property. But meanwhile, you've got kings and queens that, supposedly, oh, they don't own anything. They have no power. Well, you go look at the German family that's running, on the throne of England right now. And the Hanover family, whatever they were, and they changed their names. I mean, you look at those people, what do they own? They getting taxed on it? Just curious. How much do they own? They have no power, though. Right. Okay. Yeah, back to the chat here a little bit. Yeah, Congress sending more money to Ukraine. It's a lost battle. Completely lost. Beer's in the fridge, but okay, yeah. I got some beer in the fridge. I'll probably drink some beer today. It's that kind of day. What is going on here with all the deletions? Paulie P, what are you doing? What are you doing to Lisa? What is happening? Don't make me come in with a big hammer. I don't know. What is going on? Is it not the real Litecoin Lisa and Paulie P's out here swinging a hammer? Is he a hammer looking for a nail? What's happening in this chat? Oh my God, my bad. Well, you killed her. Loosey goosey Nikki, huh? Daddy-o. Yeah, she's quite the character, I do say. But yeah, I guess since we can't see Litecoin Lisa in the chat today, we'll have to watch her on her own channel on Happy Hour at 4 p.m. Central Time today. Was writing on top. Oh my God. Paulie, you're going to get your hammer taken away. The wrench is going to go back in the toolbox. Anyway, couple other things. The girl on the plane. I'm not sure what to make of that. Is it people just going crazy? And there was another one where people are on planes kind of getting whacked out and trying to open doors, and it makes me not want to fly. But yeah, there was a follow-up to that. Some guy said that, I was 3 rows behind her and I saw, the guy was a reptilian. His eye blinked the wrong way, and that's complete fabricated. But what she saw scared her, whatever it was. I don't know. It'd be nice to interview her. Maybe it'll be my first interview. Come on Clint Westwood's channel and I'll interview you, girl on the plane. And we'll see what the truth is, how that guy or that person wasn't human, as she said. But there's probably a lot of that going on. I call them vampires because I don't think they're human, because they don't seem to care about the human race. And you never know. Maybe they're all over the place. A lot of our history's been erased. A lot of it's been hidden from us. But anyway, just to follow up on the whole dollar situation and how it's really not your money. Don't think that we can just continue to print our way out of it. That was fine for a while as long as the U.S. military could go in and do whatever it wanted. You can all still hear me. Lisa says she thinks my channel got taken down. No, I think Lisa got knocked out because Paulie P was getting silly. All right. Well, I'll wrap this up in case it does get taken down. But you look at the BRICS nations, they've got a big meeting on, I think, August 22nd and 23rd, and it's being leaked out that they're going to say that they're going to have a gold-backed currency, and that's going to be released, announced at that time. But you've got a lot of floaters out there now, kind of putting it out there that, is Lisa back on? I hope so. He timed her out. Oh my gosh. You can't be driving a truck and trying to moderate the chat, bro. So the BRICS nations are going away from the dollar. That's very obvious. They're trading in their own local currencies. They're using the Chinese yuan. They're using other currencies. And I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like using a cryptocurrency. If you find value in it, take it, use it. It's up to you to use it. And so you're seeing that hegemony, that dollar-based control matrix starting to break apart. And that's probably one of the reasons why Yellen's over there in China, getting all scared to death that, hey, we got to work together here. Hey, we can't be doing this. Well, you abused your right to the the standard, you know, the world reserve currency. It's really not a good reserve anymore, and a lot of the nations are saying enough is enough. And so they've banded together, and we'll see what happens. But if they go with a gold-backed currency, I mean, people are looking for sound money, looking for something that's going to hold their value, looking for something that one entity you can't just manipulate and control. And that's what's happened with the dollar. And it happens with all world reserve currencies. It gets abused because you figure, you know, hey, we need more money, we'll print it up. They're going to take it. What are they going to do about it? We'll send troops over there and blow them up. It gets to the point, though, at the end of the empire, that doesn't work anymore, and you kind of lost control. And I think that's where we're at. It's completely, and it's probably by design, and they're picking winners and losers again at a grand chessboard, you know, strategy level. So that's why it's like, I can't get too upset about it. I can just do what I can do, and I know that there are options now. It used to be, hey, my only option is silver. I can opt out with silver and hopefully find people that are going to take silver, you know, as barter and trade and whatever. But now we've got cryptocurrency that works very efficiently to where, I mean, you can use it anywhere in the world. You know, you're buying goods and services from across the world, you can pay them in cryptocurrency and it can be shipped here. It's not like you got to send the silver and wait for the silver to show up. Oh, it got lost. No, I mean, it can be sent directly to a person. And that's what we have to do. We have to create our own local, global economies using the money that we want to use that is uncensorable money. And that's what we've got. We've got uncensorable money that's decentralized, and we have a fixed supply of it. We know how much there is, and we choose what the value of it is. We use it, and there's no government telling us, you know, hey, this is what this is worth. It's up to us. And if we don't use it, then just continue to be abused by the existing system, because that's all they're going to do is continue to abuse you, and they're going to continue to do it, and they're going to do it harder and faster, because that's how they roll. And there's, you know, it is what it is. Just accept it and try and find ways to opt out of it. Keep playing in the casino. They're going to keep building nice, pretty casinos, and they're going to keep issuing poker chips, and those chips are only going to be good where they say it's good. It's where you're at. Find the exit. It's hard to do in a casino. They don't want you to find the exit. But find the exit and get out. Trust me, I've been in Las Vegas, and I don't like going there because it's just like a freaking wandering around in some twilight zone to where, how do I get out of this freaking place? That's what they want, though. And that's where we're at with the dollar-based system. So opt out while you can still see the exits, because pretty soon it's just going to be a big hall of mirrors, and you're going to know which way to get out. You're going to be stuck in it. And that's where they want you, though. So look at cryptocurrency if you haven't. Look into gold, silver. Look into those things that you can hold in your possession, and find other people, you know, who are going to use that, you know, like-minded people. And it could be, you know, in another state, you know, maybe that's where you start. That's, hey, most of my friends, how many friends do you have you went to high school with? How are you still your friends? You know, most of my friends are now online, and we have to come together at meetups because it's hard to find like-minded people. They're out there, though. You just have to broach the conversation a little bit, and you'd be surprised. And then it's just kind of getting to the next level of, okay, they understand something's wrong. And, you know, hey, yeah, I'm into silver. Well, hey, maybe you should look at this crypto. This is, another way that we can transact. You just got to have the conversation. And, you know, if they're not open to it, that's okay. At least you planted the seed. That's all you can do. Leave it better than you found it. Do something that you know, can affect change. And envision the world in which you want to live is really what it comes down to. Because I don't think many people look at the system and the world the way it is right now and think, okay, this is healthy for humanity. This is a good thing. This is working. It's not really working. So we've got tools, we've got economic weapons to be able to make it work. So let's start using them. You know, use them now. Don't be waiting, okay, in 2 years when we have the next bull run, you know, price is going to go way up. Start using it now. So I'm not saying, you know, take 100% of your stuff and start spending it. No, but start using it so that, you know, you're much more confident that, hey, this system does work. This system actually allows me to transfer value. Someone takes it and provides it. Hey, I could go buy some really nice soap with it and pay with Litecoin or Bitcoin or whatever it is. Hey, I can go out and, you know, get my car fixed because this guy's gonna, you know, hey, I'll take some Litecoin to fix your car. I mean, find those connections, reach out to those people, and encourage other people, bring people to those people, because if we don't build a new ecosystem, they're gonna give it to us. And they're gonna try and make it easy and make it sound good. And guess what? Welcome to that CBDC digital vampire casino, because that's exactly where they want you. Don't let them put you there. All right, happy hour, 4 p.m. Central Time today. Thanks for hopping in, everybody. Paulie P. About to get wrenched. Anyway, you do the best you can. Next time, don't be knocking Lisa in the head with the wrench, though. Come on, man. Happy hour, 4 p.m. Central Time, Litecoin Lisa's channel. Join us. I'm not sure what I'm going to drink. Maybe we should take a poll. Is it going to be whiskey? Is it going to be bourbon? Is it going to be beer? What is it? What's Westwood drinking today? I know what Lisa's drinking. All right, thanks for hopping in. Love you all. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. You got to trust yourselves. You've got to understand that you've got the power to affect change. Just start doing it. I don't care how small it is. It doesn't matter. Just start doing it. And you know, mention it to other people, because you'd be surprised how many people out there are like-minded. You just got to have the discussion and broach the subject. And you know what? If they don't have time for you, somebody else will. Don't waste your time on people that are just going to be negative. Look for those people who are looking for answers, because you've got solutions you can offer them and talk to them about. So it's a waste of everybody's time if you don't focus on the people that need the help. If they don't want the help, don't waste the time. I mean, they'll come to it at their own path if they ever do. But, you know, those people who are searching for knowledge, find those people and get them the knowledge. That's how we fix things. That's how we win. All right, love you all. Trust yourselves. See ya on Happy Hour.